So, James, I had over 6.5 episodes of PLAAY Nation podcast, and I think it hits officially. I don't know. Maybe maybe it's off the board now.
I had the over 2, but I also took the points of like at least 3 shows, so I think I come out on the empty side.
You got to hedge sometimes on these things.
Yes, you do.
So we've got, this is going to be a meta episode, I think, and I hope you guys are cool indulging us with this. We, as things in life happen, we had a plan, and I think we're gonna have to pivot, as they say, and not for any, I think for the better, and so I think, Al, you're probably the person who can speak the most to maybe the premise of what we're going to do this podcast about.
Yeah, why I'm tired of having co-hosts.
Yeah, that's
not it. That's not it. That's not it.
No, so I guess do you want to start at the beginning or do you want to start at the end?
We should probably address the elephant in the room. We had recorded an episode 0 that did a lot of explaining of some things that we never aired, right? And I think, given our current state, it's probably good for us to kind of recap what happened in that episode 0 that we only gave a little teaser to and not really laid it out for everybody. And now it feels like a good time to do it, right?
Yeah, and as we go through sort of the history, the very brief history, it'll become clear what kind of changes are necessary. But not to bury the lead, if I'm using that phrase correctly, this podcast is not ending. It's just going to pivot a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So back late last year, we've and again, we did talk about this in an unaired episode 0. I won't say forgive me if you've heard this already, because you probably haven't. But Keith Avalone made the announcement that Sam was leaving PLAAY, the company of PLAAY, to go off on his own. And that was sort of a big deal in the community and hit everybody pretty hard and had the effect of making Keith think about, okay, what's 2026 going to look like from a business perspective? And if you go back to 2019, you'll remember that Sam brought a different angle, a different community aspect to PLAAY, most notably with the production of the Play Space Live YouTube series. Keith regularly and Sam would air live episodes with a chat room for the community, talking about the roadmap, new games he was working on, showing off new games, unboxings, et cetera, et cetera. And it was a way for the community almost weekly, in addition to his blogs, to stay in the loop. So 6 very successful years of Sam helping Keith really grow the community, grow his company, with a reach that he hadn't had previously. So I was visiting Keith, around the holidays last year. I was there for the holiday show. And while I was there, we talked about the future, and Sam was there too. And we were sort of spitballing on, well, what could we do? We know Sam's not going to be around. Keith was pretty sure that he wasn't going to be doing Play Space Live anymore. Mm-hmm. He was pretty sure that with Sam leaving, he really needed to pull back, focus on the business, focus on order fulfillment and game design. And he really didn't see a space in his schedule that we've talked about many times on this podcast, his very full schedule. He didn't see the space there for that part.
And he didn't want to do it halfway, right? He wanted the quality to continue to be what it had been.
Yeah.
And he wasn't confident that he could do that on his own.
Exactly. So we hatched the idea to sort of, not supplant or replace, but to create a podcast that would give sort of, the 3 of us an opportunity to help Keith out, which is really what this was all about. This podcast was launched as a way to help Keith keep in contact with the community. We could do some of the heavy lifting, of announcing schedules, announcing games, previewing games, bringing Keith on to talk about the design process, to talk about his roadmap, etc. And if, for people that are both fans of Play and fans of the show, that Keith really never ended the Play Space Live. He got right back on that horse right around the same time we did our first podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, somewhat is a surprise to us. We didn't expect him to get after it so quickly, but, we talked to Keith and we felt there was room for both the Play Space Live and this podcast focused solely on Play content. With the help that he got there with his employee, he was able to sort of pick that all back up, and they've been doing a great job. I think it was actually kind of funny. I mean, what happened was, I think it might have been the day we were recording our first podcast, and we got that pop-up, we got that notification in YouTube that Keith was live, and we're like, what? So, but the past 3.5 months have been great. Keith has been gracious and sharing inside information with us that we've brought to the show. He's been gracious in being a guest on the show. But when it came right down to it, we talked to Keith, and a lot of the content that we were bringing to the show was somewhat duplicative. It was basically, there was very little new information that we were able to bring that folks weren't already getting from Keith himself. And we tried to do some coordination of changing the order in which he would release information to give us a little bit of a scoop. And that was nice and that was fun. But at the end of the day, we just we've talked ourselves out of a significant role in the Play space, because we find ourselves typically, a day behind Keith in terms of breaking news and things like that. So while this is a great forum for talking about Keith's games, for talking about gaming, we talked to Keith and he agrees that it no longer needs to stay focused on Play. And if we want to expand our content to include other games, other media, that he was totally open to still coming on the show when we wanted to talk about something specific to Play, but otherwise letting us basically setting us free and letting us take this podcast wherever we wanted. Before I talk about where we're going with this, guys, do you think I summarized everything? I was trying to be succinct, but if there's any key aspects of the past 3 months that I missed, please chime in.
One thing I would call out is that I think first and foremost, like, the three of us are huge fans of Play, right? And so I don't think any of us are disappointed that the Play space is still in existence, because one of the things that we always talked about as being part of this podcast is there was always going to be something missing by us just getting to do a podcast about Keith's games and not getting a chance to see them on the table. We never really intended to be the ones who were going to showcase those games on the table. We didn't think that was going to be a focus for us. So him being able to showcase those products, I think that's the number one thing that we get from the Play space, is to see when a new game is released, what do the card sets look like? What does the game look like, right? I think the release of Play at the Races is a great example of that. And so that part, I'm really, as a fan of Play, really happy for that part of it, even though, like, from a podcast standpoint, it was, it wasn't working for us, to all the points that you just said. But at the same time, not really disappointed, seeing as how first and foremost I'm a fan of Play games.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about what Sam brought 7 years ago, and a lot of that, I'll credit that for how I got into Play in a lot of ways, was digging back into that archive and watching a lot of those old streams. Seeing, him talk about roadmap stuff was so cool, and I hope he continues to do that. I mean, I think that's some of my favorite stuff, going into the game lab segments. And so it's a great outlet for him. And, so I think we all can agree that we're excited that will continue to be a thing that he does.
Yeah. And that brand, the brand of Play, is as much Keith as it is the games, right? So I think having him front and center is great for the company.
So do we want to talk about future, present, future, or do we have more to talk about the past?
I think if people have questions about the past, definitely shoot us an email or reach out. But no, I say we talk about the future because I think we're pretty stoked and excited about that. I know. So to start, I've been thinking a lot about this, and there's been the sports tabletop gaming community has grown a lot. There are a lot of opportunities for people to interact with hosts in different YouTube shows, and I'm sort of excited about breaking away from that a little bit and not being so focused just on sports tabletop gaming. Because Harvey, I think you said this the last time we were chatting, we are all of the same ilk and we all have similar interests outside of sports tabletop gaming. And we talk about this when when we see each other in person at conventions. We're talking with folks. You'll strike up a conversation about other games that you're playing, other games in your tabletop that have nothing to do with sports. Travis will be over there with his tactical games, and we'll spend a couple hours rolling dice and watching him play in those games, or we'll talk about the movie we just saw, or me and Harvey talk a lot about music as well. So I'm excited about keeping the three of us talking, but in a more broader sense, and that is that's where I think we're heading. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the best way to compare it to real life is the conversations that happen in the lobby at the hotel of the conventions, right? Where, I mean, obviously you talk about gaming, but really it always ends up about other things. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what that's the goal, is what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about gaming, sports gaming. We'll talk about what PLAAY's doing, but we'll also talk about, challenging balls and strikes. And we'll talk about,
Yeah.
the latest movies that are out, or books, or whatever, anything that sort of entertains us, because that's what everybody, we all want to be entertained, and there's so much great stuff to consume these days. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's hard to find the thing that is good because there's so much, you know what I mean? And so I'm not saying that we are going to be the arbiters of what's good, but we're going to share what we like, and hopefully you'll find some things that are good, and there'll be some crossovers. And we are certainly not the same people. We have very distinct, but we have a lot of crossover, but a lot of things that are distinct. And so I think that could make for some fun conversations.
I think that's the entertainment value too, is that when we talk about play, it's hard for us to have differing opinions. I think we all support the game. And, let's face it, we were there to represent play as well. But now what you're going to hear is a different dynamic, and one that we all kind of joke about, that we don't always align. And I think that there's room for differing opinions in this community. We talk about it all the time. And we're going to talk about music, and Harvey's going to be all in on something, and Al and I are going to be like, we don't know where you're coming from, right? Or somebody will talk about a show, and we'll be like, that is awful. I don't even understand why you like it, right? So I think that will be some good entertainment for our audience as well.
Yeah, and sort of on the topic of branching out, it also means we get to be more ourselves. Our this podcast that we're wrapping up today truly was in the service of play, and while we weren't necessarily employees of play, we honestly kept ourselves to that sort of like feeling of integrity and standards, where you want to carry yourself like Keith would, for lack of a better term.
So we don't have to do that anymore. Is that what you're saying? Nice.
So I know, right? Don't you feel like a weight's been lifted? So for example, while I can't stress enough how great the number of shows that are currently available for us to consume on the topic of tabletop sports, James, yourself included, I, as a consumer of that content, find myself, finding it, my God, we're just talking about the same things. It's just a different host. Talking about the same new game. Yep, we know, okay, the same game is going to now premiere on this channel and this channel and this channel. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully giving folks like that week that game premieres and it's on 4 different channels, we're going to talk about something completely different. So at least you have one place you can go where you're not going to hear about the same game.
Geez, Al, feedback received.
It's just should have talked to you beforehand. No, there's just so much more stuff to talk about in gaming, and that's one of the things that's sometimes frustrating for me is that we don't even, in my mind, we're not even playing games. We're spectators rolling dice for a simulation. And half of the time I'm not playing my own games or similar games because that's all it is, the simulation. I want to play games like Heat where you're battling an opponent. I want to play multiplayer games where you win or lose, like you have a vested interest in the outcome. So I'm excited about and there might be some people that are going to be turned off by this, but yeah, I'm excited about venturing outside of sports simulations. So
there are a lot of great games out there. We played Carcassonne this weekend with some friends. Have you ever played that? It's
many times.
Yeah. It was fun. I had never played it before. It was a good time.
No, that's I think that's one of the first games there was like a gateway game that,
for sure.
I got that around the same time as Catan.
Right.
So yeah.
Similar vibes.
I'm down for a game.
I might like it more because it's less, there's less sort of like hand-to-hand conflict. Do you know what I mean? You're still going against each other, but it's
nice.
You don't end up hating the person at the end.
So we're giving folks a preview. This is like should we talk about the name that we're going with?
Well, I mean, I figured that would be we should talk about it at some point tonight.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no. It wasn't my idea. I was sort of the odd man out in this discussion. So Harvey or James, please share your thoughts on our new name and unveil it to everybody.
Well, I'll set it up and then let Harvey kind of take it home. Okay. And I'll say that we've all enjoyed this podcast, right? And I think we've obviously been on pause for a couple of weeks trying to think about how we wanted to proceed. And one of the things I think that we liked about this podcast is we liked the brand identity that we had. We liked this idea of being called the PLAAY Nation. And we were trying to figure out, like, how do we pivot away from that? Like, how do we go from being the PLAAY Nation, where we talked about play, into something new without completely losing that brand identity? And so, Harvey?
Well, I mean, I don't want to take all the credit, but I do think it was my idea.
It was your idea?
I think it was your idea. We're not going to give it to Al. Let's put it that way.
And we're not giving you a goddamn green jacket for it either.
Yeah. Well, I've already got one. I don't need another one. Just drop one of the A's, and we're still PLAAY Nation, but we're talking about playing lots of things. You can play a record. You can play a movie. You can play another game. And so we're going to continue to play lots of things, and I love the vibe of Nation, like that it is a community, right? And we're sharing what we like. We'd love to hear other people's, be a part of it. And so so we're just dropping the A. We're just going to be PLAAY Nation.
I like the double meaning too of the fact that for us this is play, right? Like this is what we do after the work, outside of our family time. Like this is what we do to kind of have some downtime, and downtime for me is playtime, right? It's just, now I'm an adult, and what does my adult playtime look like? It means more than just sports simulation. It means a lot of different things, and I think we're gonna try to talk to all of those.
Yeah.
I think the tagline we are enjoying is one less A, a lot more to say.
Mm-hmm. So expect lots of hot takes from Al. And
that's why I'm here.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So, should we just like end it here and just start recording like the next episode then?
Well, I mean, I think we do like so here's I'm going to already start here, and this will mean nothing to you guys and probably not anybody else that would be listening to this. But There was there was a music festival back in the 90s called the Horde Festival. You guys familiar with that? Blues Travelers started it, Spin Doctors, and so Widespread Panic, who's the band that I used to be really into, still am. They would play, and there was another band called the Aquarium Rescue Unit, and there's a guy named Colonel Bruce Hampton who's like this mythical Southern rock guy, and I bet there are people out there who have heard of Colonel Bruce Hampton. You talk to people who have been inspired by Colonel Bruce, is like Derek Trucks, Fish, like lots of major artists have been influenced by Colonel Bruce. So anyway, what they would do during the festival is Aquarium Rescue Unit would be playing, and then while they were kind of jamming on this song, members of Widespread Panic would come out sort of one at a time and start playing along with the song. And by the end of the song, they're all playing the same song together. And then the Aquarium Rescue Unit members start leaving the stage. And then before you know it, you're seeing Widespread Panic, and it's a new song.
Interesting.
Okay, that's cool.
I feel like that's what we're going to do right now is the ARU Panic Segue is going to be the PLAAY Nation Segue. So I think we just jump in, guys.
Sounds good to me.
So I figured maybe just like, everybody gives like a recommendation of something that they've been consuming in the last week that's piquing their interest right now, and we could talk about it for a minute. Does that work?
Works for me.
Okay, James, what do you want to share?
I was going first.
Okay, Al, what do you want to share?
I'll go first. Right, James, think of something. So over the past 2 weeks, I have put now 60 hours into a video game called Crimson Desert. It is an open world.
It's a console game, like
action
a PS5
role playing. It's
Xbox?
PC, Xbox, PS5. I'm playing on an Xbox.
Okay.
So I'm big into exploration games, ones where you just have a sandbox, you just running around trying to find cool treasure and loot, and it has a great combat system. If you're a graphics whore, the graphics are incredible. Am I allowed to say that word?
Sure, why not? Think it's in the context of graphics, sure.
Yeah. So, people wonder. It's like, geez, Al, I thought Fascinating Baseball was done. Why are you waiting until July to publish it? It's so I can have time to do things like play video games.
Nice.
So yeah. I mean, so if you've got an Xbox, a PS5, or a PC, and you are into games like sort of like Red Dead Redemption, that series. What's another? Any of the Assassin's Creed games would be another
Skyrim
parallel.
Like Skyrim?
Yeah, it's like actually that's probably the best parallel. It's like Skyrim 15 years later. I think that game's like 15 years old now, something like that. Pretty close to it.
Definitely is. Maybe 20.
But it's a ton of fun. Feel free to look it up online just to get a feel for what it is. But yeah, that's been taking up pretty much all my free time, except for when I'm looking around my desk here. I've got a ton of Fascinating Baseball FAQ edition testing going on, but I'll get a few games of Fascinating Baseball, get a series in like 20 minutes, and then I'll spend like 2.5-3 hours right behind me on the computer playing a video game. But yeah, it's all about balance and not, for me, I'll just end this with saying, I will always be bouncing between board games and video games. And I love that I have both hobbies, because I'll sort of get tired of one and that'll sort of like make me hungry, for the other. And then it just makes me enjoy the other one that much more. So that's what I've been up to, Harvey. Are we going back to you or to James? Did you figure something out?
I did, but we can go to Harvey.
Okay, I'll go. And I'm gonna just, because there's been a lot of stuff and we've been consuming a lot of things recently, so I'm gonna kind of bounce around. I'm gonna take more than one, maybe. We just watched the show on Prime Video, Young Sherlock, which my sister told me about today. I'd never heard of it before. It came out this year, I guess. Guy Ritchie directed it. It's like an 8-part Sherlock. Sherlock Holmes, but it's set where he's like maybe 20, 22 or something. So he's younger. High pace, fast pace. It was really cool. So thumbs up on that. We went and saw Project Hail Mary.
Whoop, whoop.
I cannot recommend that enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so rare that I go to the movies and am not sort of pretty quickly like checking my watch to see how much is left. And this is a long movie, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I was an hour and a half in before I looked at my watch, which is unheard of.
I still don't believe you that it was that long.
It's 100% true. I don't know. I don't know how it happened, but I was
that's crazy.
Now, did you read the book before going to the movie, or follow it up?
No, we need to set some.
No, sounds like you listened to the book, James.
Well, no, okay. So here we go. So can we set like what? Okay. So I can't say that I read the book if I listened to it. Okay. That's what you're saying.
He played the book. He hit the play button and played the book.
So I need to clarify
this is the PLAAY Nation, so.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
I also listened to the book, and I consider it.
You know what? Can we establish this now? There are three of us. We can take votes on things.
Not reading. No. Not when I'm right.
We're a democracy. We're a democracy, Al.
No. You listen to an audio book. You read a book. You cannot call listening to an audio book reading.
Okay, here. I'll give you just here's my other thing that I've been consuming recently is I've been reading Harry Potter. I've never read any of those books myself. Yeah. Dude. Okay. All right. Don't look at me like that.
Reading or
so? Okay. No. Let me ask you this. I had been reading it to my 10-year-old. He's been listening. Does that count? Did he read the book or no?
All right. See,
no, he didn't. No, you read.
He didn't read it. I'm gonna tell him right now. You are not reading Harry Potter. You are listening.
You can't take credit for it.
Time out. Harvey, is he sitting with you and looking at the pages as you're reading it aloud?
No, I mean mostly no. I mean we're sitting together.
Right. He enjoyed hearing the story read to him, but he didn't read it.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna
pretty cut and dry.
I mean, it's fine.
Oh, really?
You can be wrong.
Really?
Al.
You would go, okay, so you're going to read a book to your son, and what if the teacher said, so did he read this book? You're going to say yes?
No, but if somebody says, have you read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone? He's going to say, yeah, I've read it. I know exactly what happens.
I know. I never read it, but I have really great memories of my dad reading it to me.
Oh, my goodness. By the way, did you guys know that the book was originally called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone?
Philosopher's Stone, yes.
And when they released it in America, they called it the Sorcerer's Stone because Americans are so that they would think that philosophers would be boring and they wouldn't want to read it. So they had to make it more exciting.
Wow. The good news is for the re-release of the TV show that they're making, they are going back to Philosopher's Stone.
Okay. Oh, nice. Well, that's good.
That is good.
And by the way, and this probably makes it even less of a book for you, Al. We're listening to the full cast reading of the book. So it's like different characters are reading each of the cast of the characters' parts. There's like a different voice for each and it has sound effects and stuff, which is super cool. But it's not reading.
So, no, I think
so you're not reading to your son. You're both listening.
We are not reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. We're really enjoying not reading it. It's been entertaining. Anyway.
So it's like old timey radio, is what you're saying.
It is. It's like radio drama.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't have any problem with that.
So James, you were saying you didn't read Project Hail Mary either.
No,
but
I was saying
exactly
I did
what
read.
happens. You know all of the words that were written in the book. You just didn't read it.
I'm gonna say on the record that if we had a quiz, I would score better than Al will.
I bet we would.
No,
I can almost guarantee it.
I'm not taking that challenge.
There you go. So
I tend to skim past the boring bits.
I was curious.
Whoa! Did you just say
I would scrub if I was listening to it?
So are you saying you read the book, but you skipped part of it?
Every now and then, when it gets to exposition, like describing stuff, it's like that it's not moving the plot forward. Sometimes I get a little impatient.
I don't even know what to say. You're going to give me grief for listening to 14 hours an audiobook, and you skimmed part of it, and you have read it, and I have not.
Right.
James, you were saying?
I was about to go into how Al is applying the 80-20 rule to reading books. So,
Fair.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious if you found the book as enjoyable as the movie.
Better than the movie, 100%. It went into so much more detail. Like, so just take one example. Because I was watching for certain things. One of my favorite parts of the book is right in the beginning when he keeps unsuccessfully trying to get out of the med bay, and the you know the robot arm keeps like picking him up and putting him back, saying failed, or you didn't pass the test, because it would like quiz him, like what's your name, and they would ask him tougher and tougher questions. Nope, wrong answer, and throws him back in bed. That went on so in the book that process went on for days, and it was funny, and I was like, oh, how are they going to do this? I thought maybe they would just do, like, from a cinematography standpoint, they would just fade to black and then try again, fade to black, try again, but instead they just made it all happen in one day, where he stumbled out, the arm tried to grab him, throw him back in, and he fought it. And when there was at least 1 or 2 chapters full of discovering the different rooms on the ship.
Yeah.
That literally happened in, I want to say, 30 seconds. And so for me, there was a lot of buildup in the book. There was a lot of suspense that was lost in the movie. Now, the movie, I'm so glad I saw it in a theater. It was visually stunning. The acting was top notch. The casting was perfect. And it was a perfect movie. But I was disappointed. And the very end, I won't spoil it for anybody, but the very end didn't hit as hard as it did reading the book.
Got it. Yeah, those emotional payoffs are sometimes hard to capture the same way. So,
yeah,
that aligns. I asked that question because the thing I was going to talk to in terms of a recommendation was Ready Player One.
Oh, yes.
On the way home from IndieCon, I listened to that in my car.
Right.
And I thought the book was great, right? And I was really into it. Having grown up in the 80s, right? All of those 80s references and everything were just clicking throughout the whole thing. So when I got home, I knew my daughter is kind of getting into some science fiction stuff, and she's into the 80s because of like Stranger Things and everything. I was like, oh, we should watch this movie. Movie disappointed greatly. Now, have you seen the movie?
I have, and I would agree with you. See that I still really enjoyed the movie.
The movie was good, but it went so far away from delivering the book the right way. They changed story elements dramatically. They had different reference points to the 80s than what are actually discussed in the book. And I was just like, I don't even feel like I'm like watching the same story at this point.
Well, I mean, it was Spielberg, right? Ready Player One was Spielberg. And I mean, so I think he clearly wanted to put his own imprint on the film. I don't know I assume the author was as involved, but I know that Andy Weir was super involved in the Project Hail Mary production. So that might have been part of it too.
Yeah.
But I do want to let you guys know that there is a really big storm coming through. So I lost power already. That's why I went away.
Okay.
And we'll see whether it holds up or not. But
okay.
Just FYI.
All right.
We'll stay safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like our weather correspondent. Stay safe out there, Harvey.
That's right.
The cool thing about Weir was the comments he made about the movie, saying, the screenwriters actually improved. He felt that the screenwriters actually improved on streamlining some of the parts of his book that he thought could have been better. And so I found that really interesting, that he's not that possessive about his work, that he's not open to someone else making changes for art's sake or for movie's sake. So that was kind of cool.
Did you guys?
Yeah, you should write to him and see if the parts that he thought needed to be skipped were the same ones you skipped.
I know, right?
Did you guys hear that they? Do you remember back in? I mean, I guess it still happens, but it doesn't seem like it's as prevalent now. Is like director's commentary on DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. And that was the thing of the time, right? In like the mid-aughts. When you got, and everybody was collecting DVDs. So apparently now there is a Lord and Miller commentary on Project Hail Mary. You download an app and you go into the theater with your headphones on, and and it syncs up to the movie when it starts, and you can listen to them commentating while you're watching a movie.
What a clever way to sell more tickets. Yeah, no, that's a cool idea.
So
that is a cool idea.
I just read about that last week.
Very cool.
Huh. You are so plugged in, Harvey.
Yep. That's what I'm here for.
That's the kind of experience I'll wait till it's airing on my TV at home to do that. I'm not gonna pay another $15 to see it in the theater and do that. Audio commentary.
I guess that's fair. But I mean, I just feel like I haven't made the effort to listen to a director's commentary, and I don't even know how long. And I don't even know that like the streaming services make them available, or maybe they're not even being created, and that might be part of it.
Right.
So.
There's so many ways to dissect it now with things like podcasts and things like that, right? That, they probably don't bother as much anymore. So,
still waiting for your answer, James, or is that it? We're just talking about Ready Player One?
Oh, yeah, that was my recommendation, was Ready Player One. I mean, I've got some, I will say, like, just to wrap it up, like the video game that I've been playing a lot lately has been Civilization 5. I've gone back to the old, like, it's still my favorite version of the game. I can't really get past that version of it. And I've gotten wrapped into this idea of like trying to just knock off all the like, accomplishments that they give you in the game.
Jeez. So does that mean that multiple times you've actually finished a game of Civ?
Yeah, multiple times.
Jeez. That's a game that's fun to start, but hard to get to the end.
Yeah, it is.
So more power to you, man. That's a slog in the mid and the end game.
It is. It gets into a slog unless what I've been doing is like most of the accomplishments I'm trying to do is win as different leaders, right?
Yeah.
So, and then along the way I'll be like, what other accomplishments can I do for that particular like nation? So I'll try to like knock off a couple of things that way. And so every now and again I know I can get a quick win when I'm like, oh, there's only like if I do like random number of teams, I'm like, oh, there's only one other nation. Like we'll kill him off and then the game's over.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a nice way to kill some time though. So,
because
I just got so much available.
I think this format might work.
All right.
So are we going to keep the same cadence? We're going to target every 2 weeks. Is that the goal?
I think that sounds about right.
So, target's a good word. You know,
target.
No firm commitment.
Right.
A little looser scheduling for ourselves. If something pops on the radar and we want to talk about it, we'll jump on and we'll knock it out.
Yeah, I mean, we could have like emergency pods. Those are always fun. Like something happens and we're like, we gotta get on and talk about
it. Exactly.
Oh boy. What would rise to the level of an emergency pod? Do you have any examples?
I mean, maybe some big game. It could be a game release, or maybe we all see the movie, some new movie. Okay. Are we all going to go see Grogu and Mando? Like, maybe we do an emergency pod after that.
Not sure yet. I'm not sold right now.
We're not. Whatever.
Now, wait. No, you just reminded me of something. Did Harvey, when you went to the movie the other day, or when you saw Project Hail Mary, was the theater very busy? Was it packed?
Like the entire complex or the actual theater?
No, just the theater you were in.
It would, yeah. I mean, and honestly, we were like, it was 2 weeks after it had come out. So I felt like we were in a later stage, right? But, it was at least half full.
Okay. Sure. So ours was full, like there wasn't an available seat. And I'm not joking. Annette and I looked at each other and we were uncomfortable. Like it's 2026. I get it. We're way past the pandemic, but being in that theater full of people and like I haven't had a sniffle since October of last year. I was not feeling comfortable. And so a new issue unlocked apparently here at 57 years old. I do not like being in a crowded theater.
Let me ask you,
it's just,
do you guys have the big recliners with like the lots of space in front of them?
This was an IMAX. No, this was an IMAX. It was an IMAX theater that did not have that. And we're used to that. Yeah. We're used to those lots of space between with the recliners. These are just regular seats. Everybody nuts to butts, elbows to elbows.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thumbs down on that. No, I definitely, the newer strategy of like, they basically like have their capacity to put in these recliners and I'm here for it. You know what I mean? I'd much rather not have people up on me and Yeah. So,
yeah.
Understood.
That brings up another idea for this show, though. Do we just roll out a couch and just let Al lay down and talk him through some of his issues?
It is late.
No, it is not.
Yes, oh my God.
He might fall asleep. That's the problem, James, if we do that. All right.
Awesome.
Well, this was fun, guys. I can't wait to do it some more. I hope folks stick with, if they've subscribed before, that they stick around, that they can get serious gamer talk in lots of areas, and we'll have things to say about stuff going on. But we're mostly just gonna yap about things we want to talk about.
Nice. Yes. And as a nice, segue wrap up kind of moment, I don't know what's happening on your screen, Al, but I feel like Harvey's face has become the man whose name we will not mention.
Well, I will say all the lights are out, and I'm now connected via cell phone, so that's probably why it looks that great.
Get the sat phone.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. It was fun. We'll talk again soon.
Talk again soon.